Hi everyone, so before we get into today's topic, I wanted to shout out animalequals on Instagram. He rescues and rehabilitates injured wildlife, including foxes. He does this voluntarily on his own free time, independently. He doesn't make any money off of this. And right now he needs help with fundraising. He wants to raise money for an animal catch net to help him rescue some injured wildlife. If you're interested in this, I have links to his Instagram and his GoFundMe in the description down below. So today we're going to be talking about iDubbbz. Just recently he was on the H3 podcast where they covered some interesting topics including animal welfare. Apparently iDubbbz has started raising his own chickens. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through this clip of iDubbbz on the H3 podcast talking about his thoughts on animal welfare. And I'm going to give my own thoughts and commentary on the whole situation.
I'm raising chickens. I got a family of 3 chickens. They're beautiful. They got nice shiny coats. They're losing a little bit of feathers around their necks. I'm not sure what that's due to. I think it might be mites. So I got some poultry dust. That's apparently really good for warding off mites and other things. And they're great. They're now like 5 or 6 eggs a day, or at least feels that way. It's a lot.
Wait, 5 or 6
that's where I'm
per
getting most
or
of my
between
protein.
them?
Between them.
Okay, that's a lot of eggs. My goodness.
Yeah, I can't keep up with them. So I'm trying, if anyone's got suggestions for what I can do with these eggs, it's pretty cruelty free. And I'm actually kind of uncertain why some vegans are like a bit upset, I think, with the prospect of raising your own chickens, because you can make sure that they have plenty of space and all of that. But I think it's just the general concept of using animals as a resource, period.
So it sounds like iDubbbz decided to start raising his own chickens for egg laying so that he can eat their eggs. And I have a number of issues with this. For one thing, I have a problem with where iDubbbz would have gotten these chickens from. It sounds like he bought these chickens from some sort of company or organization that sells backyard hens for egg laying. Now, a lot of people think they're doing something ethical in doing that. They think, well, if I want to eat eggs, I should just raise my own chickens because I can treat these chickens really well, make sure they live a good life and are really comfortable. Whereas if I buy store-bought eggs, you have no idea how the chickens who laid those eggs are being treated. In all likelihood, they're being severely mistreated. Most people don't want to really support that sort of thing, so they think that the most ideal situation is to buy, backyard hens. Well, there's still a lot of cruelty and murder that goes on in this industry. For one thing, just like in the egg industry, male chicks are culled. They're not useful for egg laying. Roosters are very loud. They can be very aggressive. So a lot of people don't want roosters when they're buying backyard hens. So a lot of these chicks, they are just murdered soon after birth. Oftentimes they are thrown in a blender when they are fully conscious. It is pretty messed up. Imagine dropping a little baby chicken into a Vitamix and pressing blend. It's pretty sick and disgusting. So I don't think most people would want to support that. I think just murdering a baby animal is pretty sick. And on top of that, these chickens are selectively bred for egg laying. So that creates a number of issues. They are bred to produce as many eggs as possible, and that gives them a lot of health issues. So calcium deficiency and osteoporosis is very common in these sorts of birds because the egg formation process, it requires a lot of calcium. If they are creating a lot of eggs, they are prone to developing calcium deficiency, osteoporosis. This can also lead to other reproductive related issues like egg binding. Chickens that have a high output of eggs, they are also prone to having these eggs bind inside their system, which can be extremely painful, and it's a very serious life-threatening condition. And on top of that, they can also have other issues related to this, like prolapses of their cloaca, which again is extremely painful. This can significantly shorten their lives as well. So this isn't a good thing. You're not doing a good thing for these animals by selectively breeding them like this. And iDubbbz mentioned his chickens, their egg output is enormous. And he thinks, oh, that's a great thing. No, it's a horrible thing. It's terrible for these animals. So you're not doing these animals a favor by selectively breeding them in a way that massively increases the risk of death and disease. So this whole backyard egg-laying chicken thing, it's not an ethical alternative to store-bought eggs. It is better in certain aspects, but it's not a significant improvement. What you're doing is you're paying for somebody to forcibly breed these animals against their will, and they are breeding in disease, suffering, and death. Just so that you can have some scrambled eggs in the morning, you are ensuring that these animals won't live as long, and during their lifetime, they are much more likely to suffer and experience these horrible diseases and disfigurements. And imagine if your parents did that to you. Like, imagine if your parents, modified your genes, just like how we've selectively bred these chickens over time. Imagine if your parents use some sort of technology to modify your genes so that you would be bigger and stronger and faster than everyone else, so that you could be a star athlete. And they did this to benefit off of your success. But in doing so and modifying your genes in this way, it also massively reduced your lifespan, massively increased your risk of disease. Like, you're at a much higher risk of heart disease, cancer. Like, this sort of exploitation, it's horrifically cruel in and of itself. So a lot of people, again, they have this misconception that, oh, I'm doing something nice for these animals. I'm giving them this wide open space, they can run around and play. Just the act of bringing them into existence is an act of cruelty. So iDubbbz isn't doing anything ethical or nice by doing this. You are doing these animals a disservice, and they'd be better off never existing.
Now, what were we talking about? Take the eggs, crack them in a dish, a bake-safe dish, whatever you want to call it, and get a load of cheese. I mean, like way more than you think that you would need, and then double it. And then you take the broccoli and the spinach cooked, you put it in the egg, and with the cheese, you bake it at 350 until the top is like a little crispy. And I'm telling you, dude, that is fire. That's it.
It's the best.
3 simple ingredients. So there you go. That's my suggestion.
Okay, I might do that. The cheese thing sounds a bit dangerous.
You have to do.
Are you lactose intolerant?
No, but just like that quantity of cheese just seems not good. I'm trying to cut and trying to bulk up.
It's a load of protein, bro.
Oh,
and
yeah.
veggies. I think
it would be
it's
protein. True.
Yeah.
You can do a little bit of cheese.
No, it needs cheese. I'm just telling you.
All right, I'll douse in cheese. Fine.
So as iDubbbz mentioned before, his chickens are laying an insane amount of eggs, and he's having trouble eating enough of them. And Ethan recommended some sort of egg recipe where there's a lot of cheese added to the dish. This doesn't really make sense, since I believe the whole point of iDubbbz buying these backyard hens was to be more ethical with his food choices. Well, it wouldn't make sense to add cheese to your food, since dairy is horrifically cruel. So I'd recommend you all watch the video Dairy is Scary by Aaron Janis, but to give you all a brief summary, essentially these cows are forcibly inseminated. Another word for this is raped. Then when they finally give birth, their children are ripped away from them, which is extremely stressful for both the mother and baby cow. Cows form very, very strong maternal bonds. So ripping a mother away from its baby, it's extremely cruel. Then these babies are put into the veal industry, where they are tortured and murdered. And then the mother cow, she has to endure the sort of abuse and neglect for her entire life, until eventually she's murdered just like her baby is. So yeah, it doesn't really make sense to eat cheese, iDubbbz, if you want to be more ethical. If you want to make more ethical food choices, then go vegan, eat a 100% plant-based diet. iDubbbz mentioned that he's interested in building muscle right now. Well, you can build muscle just fine on a 100% plant-based diet. I've been doing it for quite a long time. You can find other vegan bodybuilders on YouTube, like Nimai Delgado, Simnet Nutrition, Brian Turner. All those dudes are doing just fine on a 100% plant-based diet, so why don't you do it, iDubbbz, since you want to make better food choices anyway?
What do you feed the chickens? How much maintenance do chickens require?
Oh, not too much. I like letting them out of their coop once every couple of days, let them roam in the backyard for a day, let them pick things out of the yard. They're They're cool. They're kind of William Osmond said they're kind of like insects. And I kind of agree with that assessment. They're really quite stupid because you think of birds, you're like, they're smart, like parrots and all these things. They talk. But chickens are really quite stupid.
No
They're not good
personality.
problem solvers. They're not quite like dogs, but you shake like a bag of mealworms or something, they'll come running up. It'll feel like they're a dog, but then you realize if there's like any like little barrier between you and them, they can't navigate it.
They won't get
all.
to you.
They're
And you don't feel like bonded with them. They're too stupid to bond with.
Yeah, too dumb. I open my arms to have them come in and give me like a hug or like rest their naked necks on mine, but they don't do it. They're just like pecking at my hands, pecking at my feet, like, are you made of food?
So iDubbbz just doesn't know what he's talking about here. Chickens are, in fact, fairly intelligent animals. They might not have the intelligence of a dog, but they are still fairly intelligent. For one thing, they do form pretty complex social structures. I'm sure most of you have heard of the term the pecking order. That basically just means that chickens will organize their own little chicken societies. They'll figure out who the leaders are, who are the followers, who gets to eat food first. They'll figure out how to divide up resources. They'll also figure out who their mate preferences are, who their friend preferences are. They tend to hang out with certain chickens more than others. And on top of that, they are pretty empathic and affectionate animals. You will find that they make pretty strong maternal bonds. You'll also find that they're even capable of doing this with members of other species. So you can find videos of chickens raising baby ducklings because they just have this maternal instinct and they want to help and raise baby animals. And they can even show affection towards human beings. Again, you can find videos of chickens literally just going up to people for love and affection and attention. Just because they don't do this with you, iDubbbz, that doesn't mean they're not capable of love and affection. It just might mean that they don't like you, and considering that you admitted that you lock them up in their chicken coop for a few days at a time, and you only give them like one day every few days to go out and do whatever they want in the grass, maybe they figured out that you're just an asshole and they don't like you. And on top of all of this, chickens do have problem-solving capability. They can figure out where food is hidden. They can make color and shape associations. And they can count, which is pretty interesting.
Very clever. Free.
And iDubbbz, you're one of the last people who should be criticizing any creature's intelligence, especially since you're dating Anissa, who seems to have a bird brain herself. I actually debated Anissa, iDubbbz's girlfriend. We debated the topic of veganism. We focused on health, nutrition, and ethics, and she absolutely embarrassed herself. This is no exaggeration. I think if I were to have debated one of the chickens that lives in iDubbbz's backyard, that chicken would have done a better job debating me than your girlfriend, Anissa. She made herself look like a complete moron. She was stumbling over her own words, couldn't come up with arguments or any evidence supporting her claims, and it got to the point where she nearly started crying because she realized how embarrassing this was for her. Is that unless you can get your cholesterol levels down to 50 to 70 milligrams per deciliter, you will cause the progression of atherosclerosis. Now, as far as all the research I've seen, there's no way of eating animal products with any regularity and keeping your cholesterol levels within that range or below that range. Eating chicken once a week or twice a week, or fish once a week, twice a week, that will almost surely, for the vast majority of people, put their cholesterol score above that range.
I don't know. I feel like this is so, I just feel like, okay, it's so hard for me to word. You're throwing a lot, like, okay.
I know this is a lot for you, and like I don't want to try to put you on the spot, but I'm just showing you, like, this is the data, this is the facts. I know you're not too well read on this topic, but
like, I mean, yeah, to clarify, like, I'm not a nutritionist. I lift, I eat. That's about it.
So iDubbbz, if you think you're so much smarter than these chickens, why don't you debate me just like your girlfriend did? We can debate veganism and any related subtopics. We can talk about health, nutrition, the environment, ethics, whatever you want. Let's see how smart you are, jackass.
And would you feel bad at any point to slaughter them for meat?
Oh, not at all. I wouldn't. Yeah. I've considered it a couple times because I'm like, they're just a bit of a hassle.
Would you kill them yourself?
Probably not.
You would take them to
I'd send them to a farm or something.
I think it's kind of funny that iDubbbz was just calling his chickens stupid, but he's too stupid to figure out why vegans would have a problem with him keeping backyard hens when, in the same video, he admitted that he's planning on murdering them. He's gonna just hand them off to somebody to get their throats slit open. Gee, wonder why vegans would have a problem with that. And his justification for doing this, for murdering sentient conscious creatures that can think and feel and have a will to live, is that he doesn't find them particularly intelligent and they're kind of a hassle for him. Okay, well, this would justify me murdering you and your girlfriend. I don't find either of you particularly smart. You're both kind of a hassle for me. I mean, I've had to debate your girlfriend, make this response video to you. I'd rather just relax, and I'm sure at least one of you tastes good. So, yeah, gee, how smart is it to make a justification for murder that would also allow someone else to murder you? I'm pretty sure even a chicken wouldn't be that stupid. So in summary, iDubbbz, what you're doing is unethical and you have no justification for it. Even if you think you're giving these animals a high standard of care, even if that's true, just the fact that you're using them for their eggs, the fact that you likely, I'm not sure where you got these chickens, but likely bought these from someone, some sort of breeder or organization that breeds these chickens, sells backyard hens. Just the fact that you did that, it's a form of exploitation and it is an inherent act of cruelty. And you even admitted that you're planning on murdering these chickens anyway. Eventually you're just going to give them off to somebody and get their throats slit open. You have no way of justifying that, and if you want to debate this issue with me, I'd be more than happy to. Usually I host debates live on my channel through Discord, but if you don't want to be publicly embarrassed like your girlfriend was, we can just do this all privately. I don't really care. You can get into contact with me through Twitter. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I respond to most of my messages. And if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through my website. I have some funding perks you may find interesting. If you're looking for clothing, then check out the Vegan Gains store. And if you're looking for online coaching, then check out Quality Gains. He offers customized meal and training programs. And if you click the link in the description, you can get a free ebook. And as always, keep making those vegan gains.
What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.